Good evening, everyone. All of our buses are here at 6:30, and so we'll go ahead and get started. First, thank you all for coming this evening. I work with the State of Alaska's Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. My name is Jeremy Zedek. I'm a Public Information Officer. And we're going to start off tonight's meeting with a prayer. Oscar Yvonne is going to lead us in that prayer. Oscar?
Thank you. I'll start off our prayer in our Yupik language. And if you would please stand if you're physically able. Agayo na tamta kilagmut khami. Khatta khani kha agayo tulutn nasunrichtslkhobut khangutnun Janita ni tatstugut ksulagamtin. Kailun lutumbu tayukungan. Mannalukhani kha jiungani atuksailkputkhatan nunat agan kailuktsatkhatan bitalutin. Mannatulum ni nanskumafkanak. Tawam tuumak wasklutat Julie Kachkludalu Maguni Swagan Kichtureani Piut Kaput Tawam Julie Kagujin Yuput Nunaputlu Ikayu Malkatn. Our gracious and loving Heavenly Father, when we look out in this world and nature, we marvel at all of your creation, the diverse beauty that you have created, and the diversity of this world. In this world, we experience times of difficulty, some extraordinary that we haven't gone through, as in the case of the villages of Kwingillingok, Kipnuk, and others that were evacuated. And it is during extraordinary times that this diverse world has responded accordingly, extending a hand of a genuine humanity and friendship. And so we're thankful of all the response that has come in so many different ways for the communities, residents that were displaced. Bless this multi-level, multi-agency coordination and response, and help us all and guide us to provide a path forward for all the people and the communities. And we ask your blessing and peace and cooperation as we gather tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Yvonne. Next, we'll have Chalista President Andrew Guy have some opening comments for us.
Ja, gut, heute Jim ka kuya psychologie kucht zum das Gasta ja. Ich gehe bachtet da. Kuya noch lacht ka dann gut sein. Sitlat kaman suci ira lokki su chipach su kuha. Ilang kaman taka mga nunam nek niti lekki taka mthu tak nilagat mantlq. Siluktot num yocht silrati maich pakka. Mantlq dunach pagmitot yocht knak lachtuqa. Takleri lachtuq chaknqa. Tawam manna Quyucht putta mattumunni tukha tailqpslun utqartqarpslun su soorngaytuqigman takchiqoqqa skartska dotn suttoya umjofsni witakuuni sirchiqoqqa bilaqit long-term plan naqaluti. Hankuda dort umyonqkum ta mannakhwania atuullerputta itukha qatiginaqqanneruutiiqqoqqa amsaqat ikaayu tamllerpaartutta агуяхтмак стейттамакка асааллумакуунакка организаtionнааникка юулхут путлутали кааюуллутинга аттаутиқтаарлутинга макуттагуама агуяхтлик икааюутлик тайтллеритта итухва писсуутун қилартутта тамаакутлумалихтаркаулукия соорлукихтори чахвани тамаскоона каликкаққа паттигоаркаулуку халлоқ чахвания имиераркаулуку тамааккуниквани ямсерникка паифтилартирутлнун икааюутсугулин тоо питиэққутта амсеркуникка тоотен пиланраатаасуа итухаа qinqartiksaunutappikum taasriaasa sinneruutiiqortagam tamaakku tiimiirarkatta qaqiittaqluki ulagwani takpaartiroqqa tallaarkaputta honku taikaayoqqulluttagam pikumta asinnerorpartiroqqa honku taitukwa yuulraania tamaanagwania pitiriaraaqarput ikaayoqqulluta Pinirilunisut tamana ikaayuutsaqa ummiopnitoya uitaqalartutia piitsautumniagaayuutumniillutsali tawama paniqqalartlumnia yaaqfaranunna tangvasqluutia paamti amterinasuukkuftiagui napaskaami atqasuantukaajauluni kium kama atqapaaqqa taguamma talistaya tiuliqarlaaranka ukutsuportaya saitta ataaniuqaqsa amterinasuneritaatiya board of directorulritta kuigasakunasunerilsna makutsamseritalistinka tallimaantut apyutanqaaqaftiya kaalaqaqsuta maanit afsaaqartugutte ikaayoqqulun tumaitalissputta pilartutta tliimuruumaanka ikaayuutiqluuki kinaasuuqania chakkaasqarpinaakuut tailraa ikaayungtaqaluni qwania tamaanumioqqulluku pinnaaqartia amaani afsaapnia number atwalluqa paqsuta piungauti tom tasali slikikaayulluti apitsillu qalarut kluki paaqlukia makutsu talilrit ichapxupknaatiulaagaqluki apitsia antaqluki kiingattoortnasun ritsiiqutta makuunukka pissiaskuftillik tamaatumuktoriaun unnoomka qaneриukulorpillruunga qitfloorpinnerilngirma tangaitoqqa idaktoe qianaqfa piurti
So for today's presentations, we'll be doing those in Yupik and in English. And these are our interpreters. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Kwingillingok kakenrunga Kwingillingok miungullo now that's the Yugtun ariftlaaratnga kasatun in English. My name is Adolf. I'm from Kwingillingok, and I'll be helping with interpreting.
Yes, good evening. My name is Roseanne Savick. I'm a sergeant with Alaska State Defense Force to help out with the interpretation and translation. Yugtun kamin khtuliugok nunakat tsfarnkhmingunga kuyana.
Okay, so this evening we are going to talk a little bit about the response effort and also talk about the process of returning home and where we are in that. Also, our temporary housing that will be one of the missions that we're fulfilling throughout the winter.
Атакорпак қалаарут qaataqaat умиоқутим тун икаайортеққаангухали нарлуягутикуума we tawisskarti maantllarpsni tuamtutali takarnaqarti nalluyaguta qailli naniwi taqaatallarpsni qaillensupitalreamak maani uitallarkarti talqalaarutkiteqqa.
Now I'll introduce the Director of the Division of Homeland Security Emergency Management, Brian Fisher.
One other thing that I forgot. Unakwanichium qalartlaq maani Anchorage Army local Jalistulun.
Thank you, everyone. Kayana. My name is Brian Fisher, and I am appointed by the governor to be the representative for the state of Alaska in this particular disaster, in the response and all the way through the recovery phase.
Unakwani Governor Jalistka ikayutarturluni junioriarturluni aranqaallugiingalraanik ikayurluki qaillu simrumatini Governor Amun jaliqanrutka qaillun taima ikayuruillerpsnak junioritir.
Just wanted to share, I've been an Alaskan since 1987. I've been doing this job and working in disasters and emergency management in the state for the last 31 years. And I can tell you that this particular disaster, the storms that started this and then Typhoon Halong, is the worst that I have seen in 31 years in my career doing disasters here in Alaska.
Mantlortliniuq alqakuni 31 years matumklutalleerluni quangutatuuqqamtnik Charlingkhaanerminik qatnpitalreamak anuqmak navguiluni nuttaantangertuq maani Alaskami.
I want to start by thanking a few individuals and agencies for the meeting tonight. First, President Guy, the board of directors, and the officers of Chulista, thank you for helping us put this together. I want to thank the Anchorage School District and Betty Davis East High School for allowing us to use their facility tonight for this event. Further down in the evening, we will have a break. And there are going to be some light refreshments provided out in the hall that we came in from. So I want to thank the Rasmussen Foundation for generously donating those refreshments tonight for us.
Our Kansrutirmidun 31 years patna ayuqsami jalliuqtuq ataqorpaklu ukut quyaawikluki mattumma quyurfimta aulukstai skuulaqmanna atuuqqarput quyaawiklu yaataanertortait maanilluawaitsuuqlermi qanrutkinritqa 31 years since 1987. Mani Alaska Michalis Huluni.
I also want to thank the folks here in the room and across the state that are helping respond to the devastation in the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta and other areas of the state. So my thanks go out to the American Red Cross of Alaska and nationally, the Alaska Army and Air National Guard, the Alaska State Defense Force, the Alaska Naval Militia, the Division of Forestry and Fire Protection, the Department of Transportation, and our partners at the federal government with the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Small Business Administration and others. There are hundreds of Americans and Alaskans that are here to support you in this devastating time and for the long haul over this what will be a long recovery.
Juan Kudamani Tkizganlani, evacuate Aumalrani, Amakan Kingunum, Umikpak, Makut Ikayucht put Amsrat, Makan Alaskam Kingun, nothing down Quingakima Pixaitos, Tisu, Phone Angakafsi, area code number 907 now, nothing nasu nailachut akmakan kingun kaluting. Una chali ilaksuku dot na kitau luting ikayucht put. Ukutsu chali kimung pisk nating makut kani awai apkai mani Alaska me organization nat chali skut ikayucht suting junior right good ikayut come.
Finally, I want to thank all the members of the tribal councils from all the communities that are showing leadership that we are listening to make sure that your needs are taken care of. And I want to thank all of you for being here. Your strength and your determination and your commitment to your families, your community, and your region is very, very heartfelt. And as a neighbor of yours and a fellow Alaskan, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, Kayana.
Kuyak nunan kingun kalutakwang kuta kisngalgani ila putsut chalitai ma kisngan retut man snek man snek kuyak aku tu chali awai Jali tulit jalistet afisani jalistet uyuk suting mani jaliskut khat jalitamana uyat suku. Pangkuta kisngalgani junior luta.
So, as I mentioned, Governor Dunleavy declared a state disaster emergency immediately following the first storm that hit Kotzebue in the Northwest Arctic, and then expanded that disaster for areas in the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta and other areas with Typhoon Halong. So I'm appointed by the governor to help lead the recovery from these storms, and I want to introduce Mr. Willie Nunn from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. Willie was appointed by the president to be my federal counterpart to lead these efforts. So Willie.
Good evening, everyone. As Director Fisher said, I'm Willie Nunn, Federal Coordinating Officer for FEMA.
Una sminkawai apchtuktukat ha jalistknuk FEMAM atjani akmakan kingunaglu.
Thank you. And as Director Fisher said, I know your journey has been long since early October to travel from your village to Bethel to Anchorage. And so I really appreciate you being here tonight. And it's an honor for me and my team, along with the state team, to be here tonight to support you.
Kwangutukwani kwa mav tki kanam nik tki tchanig minik mani I'm lost, sorry.
I'm sorry.
If you could kanrumaka dekas atun nasu yaguting lakaka kansat.
One of the biggest messages that I wanted to share, we are one team. FEMA, state, FEMA, and all the tribal leaders that we work with.
Achakal gauna kwani jalis utksutungukut jalis hat FEMA state aksu taukut jalis utksit
And the tribal nations.
Jisu gingunachsnik sovereign nation at Kuyaksugutaman.
Since the president declared the disaster on 22nd of October, we have over 181 staff on the ground.
Matum Sachpam Tanran, President Kanrut Khanran Gingun Luting Simruti Jalak Niluku Mani Jalistingsu.
Those staff are working with you not only here in Anchorage, but in Bethel, and we visit your villages that have been impacted as well. And we will continue to do that.
Jalistit Ukutwani Kuyurmang Mani Anchorage Mamtris Misu Jalis shooting Nunatsu Jali Paktasik Niluki Kanrutsuku.
My team from FEMA will be here to talk about some of the processes to you. Please ask questions as we go through this.
FEMA Jalistit Khania Ataniukangai Mantut Kala Nijunichi Kaisi Kalaras Kufti Kwasu Aputan Kufti FEMA Tukutwani Apkauluki Pinachtuchi.
And finally, thank you everyone for being here. We want this to be productive.
Kuyak Mantsnik Tamachchi Tamam Tamantnik Kuyak Manasu Jalisutsuta Atauchuluta Piyutsuku.
And this will not be the last time we're speaking to you.
Nangan rungay tuksuna kwani kuyuk sakput ukut ikayu shooting. Just one thing that I want to respond to what you're saying, that you're from way up in the administrative level of us, of our state, even the president.
He said that.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm happy about that, to hear that we're getting help from top administrative level. Thank you for being here.
This is not the first time I've worked in the state of Alaska, and definitely not the first time I've worked with the tribal nations in Alaska. and the relationship has been strong. Brian Fisher has been my friend and colleague and a professional since 2009, and we've run many missions here together, and we look forward to be a fantastic and a successful conclusion to this one.
Kuya kanimani jali sakmenik. Iknaku kanrut kakataw.
So just want to give some updates to what's happening in the region and here in town and in Bethel in terms of the response and the immediate recovery that's happening. There's really two major efforts that are going on. The first is all of the emergency and immediate repairs that are happening in your communities, both for infrastructure and in some cases to your homes that were damaged or destroyed.
Achtakalram kwani kingunam ni kituhnachrit napachtimalrit jaliwit ilaksuki kwasu net ilaksuki ayagnilhat kituchtiluteng jalistet kanrutka.
Governor Dunleavy and Willie and I were in the region last Monday and Tuesday. We did make it to Kipnuk. The weather prevented us from going to Kwingillingok. We visited Kwingillingok and Napakiak as well. Couldn't get everywhere we wanted to go. But the governor has said and has promised that he will continue to return to the region to check on us, to make sure that the progress we are making on behalf of you and your communities continues throughout the winter and into the summer next year.
Una gnaktkiluku kwaniwa una gnatkisngachput kanrutka Governor Dunleavy snichtluchniluku awavat kingunam nun jaliasanun arianun paktarluchniluku nunavut kingunachput
We are continuing with our contractors and the state DOT in doing infrastructure repairs. There's a lot of work that's happening on your boardwalks, restoring power to all the facilities as well as homes. And in partnership with AVCP and AVCP Regional Housing Authority and the contractors and the military, we're continuing to try to make as many home repairs as we can before real hard winter is there and we have to stop work on the housing repairs.
kingunam ni chat kituchnachlit ayagnilchuchtait tussagat tussaganik ilaksuki kwassu napangkalrit net chattoy tangluki kituchnachlit ayagningaluki unarnaktkiluku chalaqwarait. Anguyaktot nukani apakluki ikayutlit.
So we're going to try to put up on the screen here some pictures of your community and some videos of the work that's being done, both to your infrastructure and to homes in the area. While we're continuing those emergency repair operations in the communities, we're also working hard here in the Anchorage area, in Bethel, and really across the state to make sure all of you have a safe, secure home, whether it's back in your community or across the state this winter.
Wanihwa tang haput ayagnigluteng nennek Kwastulafkan Kituchingluting Jalishat. Mani kingunum ni kingan pisknating tagwam aktumak ngay sangsum su tapkusu kiyasat nunat.
I know many of you spent the night during the storm either in your home or in your school. You were evacuated to Bethel and then further evacuated here to Anchorage. So while you were in the congregate shelters at the Alaska Airlines Center or the Egan Center, we have now moved most families and households into hotels.
Nasunritu kut tayi mavat kipailum ta mavat taichi mawailum ta ikayo nakuchiput nit nauskuk unom ksuchali kit kakasam mavat wita wisput Egan Center, Alaska Airlines Center, taukuk apakaluk kasu nasunritukut ilaput ilang skate mani Anchorage ilam knisutali wita luting. Kuingatam ilaka ka relative ni witas putjali kimauchi masam ni evacuate masam ni kingunum.
For all of you that are staying in our hotels right now, and those of you that are staying with friends and family in town, and this is the same in Bethel, in other parts of the region, our next step will be to look at that longer term housing solution for you. So get you out of hotels, get you out of your friends and family's homes and into apartment style, longer term accommodations where they are available across the state and at your choice for the winter.
Nasunrit kwani nasunrit kumalutishu hotelani witalani witainanam ni tamani chali tamakan hotelani an anskakput nini witaskamp nun chali chalaka tamana. Aring mahputsu aka kalawut stimp fi mamak kasu Red Cross anak tamana kanwut skot hotelamik tak hotelami taksuta witan ritukut nannun piungaskamastun silachtikaitkut.
For some of you, you will be able to return to your homes this winter. We are working directly with your tribal councils. Many of the communities still are not safe to have elders return, to have families return. So as we continue to repair power and water communications, we'll work directly with the councils. And when they've determined that it is safe to return home, we will help you get home if your house is repaired and livable for the winter.
Yatini tamatum kani mani witasumta kingunam ni kwangkutanunam ni piungalgait chaliut kituchiluteng tsukata chimxtun tamana chiunakakput kwangkuta tangsuku net takngkata utxtungarilkachi kasuhinga utxtungarilkaka pikan kingunam nun pikchang chikukut attauchikun pinrilingam ta tawam councilam tasu kingunam ni kanrut qanruti matsimstun quankuta utqtungarilputjali nallunairtiqqaat.
I just want to take a moment, if all of us could please thank our interpreters and translators for being able to share what we're talking about in Yupik. I want to thank you now. Thank you for being here and doing that for us. Kayana. There will be some households, some families that will not be able to return home this winter. There are still dangerous conditions in the communities. There was a lot of pollution, a lot of damaged infrastructure. We're continuing to work and make sure the power is safe and the community is safe from pollutants, and these repairs are being made. But there will be some that won't be able to go home this winter. So we're going to take care of you either here in Anchorage or elsewhere in the state where we have housing options for the winter. That's our commitment.
Tiunrkarput quankutammaantlani awai qanrtuqtukatatimxtun kituxtilqkaat nunamtni nannak amsrat sptisut Kwingillingokmi qipnermiillu uitallerpsni awai saaqayim nallini nallunrituuti ruutlratsi tiunganitstun ayuqnritra navguirpagluni saaqayak maatna ruutaitsilpti iluulleqniluuti niitnaullerti taguamjali iggoaqquraakut quankuta niitugnilraani maantlraani ilaaputllutainrilngeraata qanrutugngaaput iggoaqquuttaitnek tukatatimextun sallaaqumaallerkait nunaaput aarnarriit Kwingillingormiinukkiiniitlalluungaawai tipsarlunilugu stowboilernim quallukaassarnim jamktuai nalluaqaqaillun sptiqipnermi taliqanrutkumaalartoq qipnermiut artaqanruluutin Kwingillingormi sangluum navguillranik nanikuanaqllranik tamaatum saaqai.
In addition to the work that we're doing right now in your communities and in the region, there are also our programs that are available now that the governor requested and the president authorized. We'll talk in a little bit of detail on those later, but there are two key programs that I just wanted to share. You may have all heard this already, but there are really two programs that are in full effect right now. One is called the Public Assistance Program, and that's really to help repair and restore infrastructure. So your schools, your power plants, your water treatment plants and washaterias, the boardwalks, the barge landings, all of that is what we call public assistance. I know it's confusing. The second program that we have is called individual assistance, and that's what's here to help you as individuals and as families and households with financial assistance to replace items you've lost, to repair or rebuild your homes if they were damaged or destroyed.
From the last information that you were talking about, imkutwani utstigat ngut nunam nun utstigat ngut takif natin kwatin witas ngay tat kun utkatakufti utkasukngati kutit ilaitagamut utstigat ngut matkatakufti ikayuktikati witasuti witas ngay tati kwanikmani takif natin witafti kut.
Guyana. So we're going to talk a lot about the individual assistance program tonight for all of you that have been displaced from your homes. the public assistance program for infrastructure will continue for as long as we can this winter. I wanted to share one specific topic with you before we continue, and it has to do with.
Before you continue,
Oh,
I'd
go ahead.
like to mention something. Kingunam ni Jolly Winklach to good council office on Jolly Wheat Makut public facility in Apomal rate Juk Sukitamakut Kingokun through Nut Wheata Wiput Jolly Jawgach Kaulu Kituk Naskait down Achtakan Kanut Ksugak.
I know through your councils and through the associations in the region, many of you are concerned and want to talk about the topic of community relocation.
Amsranitaima Kwangutasu Kwingillingok mi Akkauchsa Nunalin Kichtskakput. Nasoka Anchtigato Quatan Kipnuk Sani Nunani Damana Kanagaluku Kuyutakafchi Kalaut Klaschi. Tagwami Tuknit Lalrakut Ukut Machtarvik Miut Upashat Nunanik Dauna Neat Now Daukut Neat Now Lachtut Kwangutasu Saistun Daima Biskut Kumtu Biugasiukut Dorten Anchto.
The programs that we have to respond and recover from Typhoon Halong and this disaster will not relocate the communities. They're intended to repair and replace damaged infrastructure, homes, personal property, subsistence gear and equipment from the storm. However, we will be working with all of the agencies and the councils to talk about what we can do to support your desire, if you have it, to relocate in the longer term.
Kwanguta Daima Aguna Upaskakput Kanrut Klagayakabut. Tagam Ukut Unakanchtok Kwanich Pak Kituchtis Karting Kingunum Ninunam ni Achakaksukutaman Jali Katachtut Kituchiluten Kituchnachschanik. Akit Tamav Amsak Ayachtikluni Kituchtiskatnun Upagiluten Nunalin Richtskam Tunginun Tamana Tangwaknaku. Tawam Kingunum Nikituchiluten.
So while we cannot relocate your communities through this disaster, FEMA and the state will do everything we can to do mitigation and resilience. So that is repairing and rebuilding your boardwalks, probably on pilings, to elevate homes that we repair and rebuild, to be more resilient from the next storms. It's my goal to help buy all of you and your communities time to have that longer conversation about relocation.
Achtakaksukuchali Kwani Huachalachting Quatan Kanrutka as Weichchariluting Nimtnik Kingunimtni. I panis utaima Mayukanirluki Foundationarit Pichikut Tawama Agum Kawai Achtakluku Kanrutka as Weichchariluting Nimtnik Jaliwig.
Many of you have friends and family in Newtok, McTarvik, and you know how long that took, over 30 years for the community to relocate. We certainly hope it doesn't take that long if you, as communities, choose to relocate. But again, we're going to do everything we can to protect you from future storms until all of that work can be done to identify a new community location, to do all the permitting, to do all the construction of everything you need, from an airport to a school to a barge landing. All of those things take a very long time. But we're here to help with the immediate aftermath and getting you all back into your communities and have them up and running and stronger in case we see a storm like this again in the future.
Махтарвигмит хукка асхакурлутунг 30 years тамаатумнунни кииллуку qanrutkurassruat nunaalin qillqartang tuatstun pitalreamak tuat pitalreamak tjalleaqsuumiinaku nunaalin qillqarkaat nunat laikquankutahuanihua Kwingillingokmi huallqipnermi hualluallaani nunaani amsermak tjagmarillerni.
We will talk after our break a little bit later and refreshments about the specific programs and how you get benefit and resources from FEMA and from the state and from the Small Business Administration. But I'd like Willie to come up and talk a little bit about some of the programs that are available to all of you. Our message and our plea is if you know friends and family that have not called the state, have not called FEMA and registered for our programs, please share the information tonight. It's important that their first contact with us to register for our programs is really the way that all of you and all of your friends and neighbors can get assistance. So I'm going to ask Willie to talk just at a high level about some of the programs that are available beyond money for housing repair and beyond money for replacing personal property. There are some other services that are available to you now. And just at a very high level, I'd like Willie to mention a few of those.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, if we could, by a show of hands, how many of you have registered for the state and FEMA? Okay.
Aptsuqawai qaftini kalikanik imirisqutsi ikayut qarptsnik.
That is very important. Very important that you register for the state and you register for FEMA. Because if you do that, we make sure we talk to you and get to understand what you need. So please register for the state and FEMA. Okay? And so the programs at a high level, the individual assistance program comes with it disaster unemployment insurance for your job if you were displaced in your job. It also comes with crisis counseling, meaning your mental health. If you need help to talk to someone or to get a professional, please. And all of that starts with calling the number.
Matum kwani chalak ngat FEMA state taksu ikayuk suting ikayut ikayuk sikat kan imusu kwani witat fnaki chalak kaya ga luki fasuk kaisun nasunach sluji imu kwani matum kwani nunam navusum anuk umio putamamta ilak suta navguchkat kwangkutas mani witas ni suji Ni sukupism ni umyoputsat na pukuspo. Ikayut tang chikuk. Buitat fknaku ikayut tau na atuk luku. Kasun nasu tingku wita na nasun risku witat fknaku ikayu suci pinah tuci.
Thank you. And with that, we also have in the program disaster case management as it's asked for by the state in support of you. And that means your case. That means you call us. And so we can understand what your needs are and we can do the case management.
Napilot fknaku su jam kikayo nakutsikti kaya gauluki kasu bukil ramon su ikayo suci kaya gauksuki ikayo nakutsiktsnik napilot fknaku tamanak ikayo starnachtu.
And finally, I won't throw the number at you today because we'll make sure you have that number, but I will give it to you anyway because you may not have it. To call here to a call center here in Anchorage is 1-866-342-1699. And again, I plead to you that you call, you register. We'll have people there calling you. The state has registered you, but you have to register with FEMA as well. And then once you do that, we'll call you back. We'll call and check on you as well. So it's not a one-way street.
So the name of this call center is
The FEMA call center
FEMA call center.
located in Anchorage.
Away apchtuqa witafknachi ikayuqtarnachtuti.
And I think my program folks are going to talk more about this, but I will tell you from 2022 in Typhoon Merbok, my agency learned a lot. We learned the importance of fish camps. We learned the importance of fish nets. We learned the importance of subsistence and the timing of it. And so we know the importance of getting this done, listening to you, so we can get you what you're eligible for.
Ikayutkat akim illi nasun relachtut nit samachtun. Fankuta nakliuchtut put kuvia put rarut put buyuchtui put chatoi kegakan nakliuchtut glask put chagmamal reit nasun reitaput saitasu napait nriskumta tamakunik atturuyuk ngamtnik leach chikaput chautia kipkut put mai makuni khnagni.
So we'll talk more about this. There will be some news. There are going to be some additional resources available to all of you back at the Egan Center this weekend. So we're going to have a resource center with our agencies and many of the other agencies at the Egan Center. There's also going to be a potluck hosted by Chilista this weekend at the Egan Center. So even after tonight, there will be much more this weekend. They'll be available directly to you.
So the help center will only be located in the Egan Center, not Alaska's Airline Center.
This weekend we have, it's called a multi-agency resource center, but it's really a resource center. Our teams will be there to help you work through your applications, your questions. Other agencies will be there. Our folks will talk about that after the break. But I just wanted to let everybody know that is happening this weekend as well. Um, the phone number, the call center will still be there, but we'll have an in-person opportunity for you to get your questions answered and direct follow-up individually and on a case-by-case basis this weekend.
What would be would it be on Friday, Saturday,
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday?
What's the time, due? 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. both days, Saturday and Sunday, at the Egan Center.
We tafknachi kalikasiorechtornachtuchi Egan Centrami ikai uchtet paifsikliniut utaqafknachi qayagam rumalkahpsnik ussautnertugu tamamta achaqalrearuq manna uitakumta pichitstalu tapikumta pankutnik ikayurngaituk.
Just a couple more things before we take our first break and then hear from our program areas. We know we're very well aware of not only the contamination in the communities, but for example, the freshwater sources, many of those were exposed to salt water, and it's going to take time to either remediate that or in some cases to find an alternative for a freshwater source. So that work is continuing in the communities.
Maqsunaqllit marrat an Kwangkuta Kwingillingok qipnermillutsali chikuchittuukut mahkamtnikuksumi tamakut khani mahtarviput ahtumai tarayuqsuum qallu chatimkut kuvumalrit ahtumai tamakut saita challeqqataqait challeqqtiqqait nataqutngnaqluteng pilliut maqsunaqlqaamak kingunum.
Finally, before we go to break, and when we do go to break, thank you again to the Rasmussen Foundation for the refreshments. Please find us. Our teams are all here. We'll be with you out in the outer hall to talk to us. But I wanted to share another mission that was very, very important to us, and we know it was very important to you and to your councils. So for the last week, we have been working tremendously hard to find all those of your family and your ancestors that were displaced from your cemeteries. So the Alaska National Guard and the State Defense Force and our entire teams out there have been working, particularly in Kwingillingok and Kipnuk, to find the caskets and relocate them and bring them back into town. Just some numbers on that mission that is still ongoing. 57 caskets were recovered in Kwingillingok a couple of days ago. 28 in Kipnuk in the last 2 days. Earlier today, 6 additional remains were reinterred, brought back into town, and there were 3 more being worked just this afternoon. There are 12 caskets that we located in the Kipnuk area that currently are unsafe for us to go get. The rivers and the sloughs are not iced over enough for us, but we did secure some specialty sled equipment to come out and help with that mission. So we will continue that as long as it's safe to do so. But I wanted to share that with all of you that was very important for us to take care of now and not later. So that work is continuing.
Anrutsuga qungut livrat atxtimallat awayulqpim qaingani aqchaqaksuku tamanakhwani unnomak jalleqat Kwingillingormiq quyuqtlqit qungut to Hawaii 57 naruni kainit surlanrilluma Kipnuk agulaiq saunatinga yogalgit anguyaktit nalaqtinga utqutlarniluk yawai nunanun qanrutka.
Illaitlukwani tugustigat khatsali qailun jallaaqlukukwani atqtaarslukukwan awatitliwikluku kak chikuqpink imuk jaaqan kwani aqfayuk ngati qaatluq.
Kayana, for allowing us to speak so far tonight. Yesterday was Veterans Day, so I would like to thank all of the veterans in the room tonight for your service and your sacrifice to our country and your continued service to the state and your communities as we all face this recovery together. Jeremy, do you have anything to say? So we're going to take a break now. There are refreshments out in the lobby hall. We're going to return back in here to restart the program at 8:15. So Kayana, thank you all very much.
Hello, welcome back. We said light refreshments, but that was a little bit more. So once again, thanks to the Rasmussen Foundation for providing that. So we're going to have folks from FEMA and State Individual Assistance and Small Business Administration come up.
Jalist fima state amklu kilgaitais kluki.
We'll also talk about some ways that you can go and get information right now and in the future.
Nasun ritnachkhanik qalachtiqut khanikhwa taikuneng nasun ritnachkhanik khwankut. Jiunum niukani tamakut nasun ritachkati paiftsiqai.
All right, so first I'd like to welcome up Autumn Henderson with FEMA Individual Assistance.
Hello, my name is Autumn Henderson. I work with FEMA Individual Assistance. Thank you all for allowing me to be here today.
Una admaru fima matjani jalist nguluni, and my question is, are you from the state or
FEMA.
FEMA in the state?
FEMA Individual Assistance.
Individual, okay?
Yes, sir. Not with the state.
Here in Alaska.
Yes, sir. Here in Alaska.
Okay. Mak in Alaska kingun.
So there are 3 different ways to register for FEMA Individual Assistance. The first way is to apply online. The second, we have a dedicated Alaska call center. My FCO, Willie Nunn, provided we have a dedicated Alaska call center here in Anchorage, where you're able to register and get questions answered. That's what I meant to say.
Jallaganatjani pingayugut kaisun kwangkuta piukumta computer kun lisngalgani ayagauluta pingayot ka akut apchtulun ka jalistit mani witalgait kwanishpak kinkutit mani naslunachsungai yachtluki.
The state and the FEMA individual assistance application are different, so it's encouraged to apply for both programs.
Pingayu ayukun ritut kalikat Imigachkabut Fimam Kingunligat.
So everyone in this room is able to receive all of the assistance they may be eligible for.
Tamachtimantlani Tangsluku Ikayu Tingu Ngauti Utsausgufti Kaisnimiril Kaps.
FEMA has two types of assistance for individuals.
Okay. Housing assistant ikayung yukngauti piukufti atam rebuild takluku pilakan kikluku witawsti kwallu rentag.
So this includes housing assistance, which is to help you rebuild or repair your home, or to pay for rental assistance. Rental assistance is eligible for both owners and renters for up to 18 months.
1 year akchipluku 18 months kisluku ikayu tingyukngauti rentatku.
FEMA works very closely with the State Individual Assistance Program and other organizations to ensure that all needs are met through our programs.
FEMA kwani FEMA jalisutklaka stateak 1A program jaliswasat jaliwit kapakutaitnik programami witalgan.
And then whenever registering with individual assistance, you would need to provide general information that can be obtained through some of our people in this room.
Aguna kanrutka kasatununa kanriya general. Tamakamang unakwani nasunrit nakhrit kuyung kalrit totstuna kanginguting tukunakwani general assistant. Mani jalistit witalri.
Up next will be the State Individual Assistance Officer, Megan Iverson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Iverson. I work for the state of Alaska in the Individual Assistance Department. I am a local here. I was born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska. I'm a proud Alaskan. And I want you to know that we are here to serve you, and we're very blessed to be here. My heart was with you when this occurred. My prayers were with you, and we cried with you. And so thank you for allowing us to be here to be able to help you in any way possible to reach your goals.
Away at niya patukaum kanimani enkuchami jalist nguk tunan nacht nguluni tamakutilaklugi umyokakluta kanchtukawai.
We do have a grant program. It does mirror FEMA very similarly. However, it is imperative that you apply for both FEMA and the state. In order to utilize an be eligible for our program with the state. I'm sorry.
Ukukwani FEMA state aklu jalishkutkuk. Ji imeriulgani dort dumkanktuti. FEMA toisu state Kwingillingok itu.
So the way that it works for eligibility is you have to apply with FEMA first.
Fimaktiukluku imirachkauti.
After applying for FEMA and going through their program and finding out if you're eligible and moving forward, the state works as a safety net. You'll have to appeal with FEMA.
Ikayutinkum da FEMA state akusagikungahput. Toisukok tangluku tangluku kalikak stateam ka stateam FEMA toisu state Kwingillingok usagil toatstu.
After appealing, then you will come back to the state and work our program.
Apila kuna kwani kasatun kwatna ayukok jam kwani jali piukov ikayut kwani ikayut kalachtugut ikayut state am jali imiriuk ngauten tauna kwani pak apilak termak apriak kasatun minangchtuk kangingchtuk usauten kislut.
The reason for this is we cannot duplicate funds or benefits with the eligibility of the state's grant.
Matum kangya kwani awai kanrut kan pinkisluku ikayun asam ka pinkisluku pinkistigatuk taum ayukin tiuksirmi ikayut kinkistigatta.
With that being said, the good news is our program mirrors FEMA's very, very similarly. Almost the same.
Programak tauna ikayun ayukok FEMA state amksut ukukayuksut.
The differences are that they're able to give more money.
Ayukon relutek na amsri kanirluku akim tikik ngayungasat.
We also have a housing assistance program.
Natunginun kani ikayut kam chali piungalun.
And the temporary housing assistance program is like their rental assistance program.
Rentam pikuvet rentakun su ikayuk ngaluku.
Another positive with working with FEMA with rental assistance is they can pay out 18 months and we can only provide 3 months.
Ikayununa kani rentam 18 months taringachti 18 months asrakok avuklukusu aipa.
I want to encourage everyone to still apply for the state program and FEMA program because one significant difference with the Alaska program is
Gokait kutkankuta imiris kluta ukukunak FEMA state amaksu attau tagwam kani kwakanrut kataka tohkachtakalga.
we assist with subsistence camp structures. So that includes berry camps and fish camps.
Awai kanchtok nakliwit naklisut put kwanguta Kwingillingok ilaitni garut put puyuchtiwi put guvia put chatkwani naqsuqsuut put ayuqnrilngut tamakutwani ikayut kaitnik paifsiungalini.
ONA does a phenomenal job of making sure that personal property for subsistent needs is eligible.
Tangluku kwangkuta akluput. Tamakututali ka ikayut ng ksukungaluteng tsagmaumalri.
The director, Brian, mentioned earlier that includes fish nets, things of that nature. However, subsistence camps are with the state.
Guvian kawai chuksermi ilit gansluk. Tagwam chali kwangkuta pisuch nilpsi tsagmari makufsi state akun tamakutwani ikayut si gingun ksukungal.
We also understand that transportation needs look a little bit different in Alaska.
Mani Alaska mi ayagasut put ayukan ritut. Nunachoni kwangkuta nasun ritaput ayagasut put nunakpag mi evening mam tril ayagasutaitstun ayukan ritut.
When you register with both FEMA and the state, a caseworker will reach out to you.
Imirikum ta state am kwasu FEMA ikayukt tao na tumnguyuk ngak kipkutum.
In regards to transportation, please let them know if you have damages to snow machines, ATVs, boats, boat motors. That is included in eligibility, and the caseworker can work with you with what that looks like.
I have a question before I interpret that.
Yes, sir.
A lot of us, actually, every one of us, were evacuated the day after the Halan, the typhoon. And I could be wrong, but there are a lot of us who have no photos of how much these transportations we have in our communities are damaged. What then?
We do understand that this may be a difficult barrier. However, we want to work with you together with FEMA and what that looks like with eligibility. So please have that conversation with your caseworker.
Ikayuhtnun maguthwani nasunrit nakhsrit kanrut ksugngachi. Kwangkuta nasunritaput ayagasut put snow machine, four-wheelat, angyat, masinat, jatoy pisuktut put ayagasut put chagmamashat nasunritaput. Makut apchturluki ikayuhtnun caseworkeranun piungasinati.
That being said, registration with the state, we have a hotline number you can call. You can do it over the website. And then I also want to talk about the mark coming up this weekend.
Kwangkuta lisngasian rilngukni computeran tutkarang tuti irnang tuti lisngalran computerakun taumun ikayok tukngakut nasun rilngukumun kwasu kingan kawai website am kan ya website akun nasungam takwangkuta tioklikharni irnam nun ikayok tukngakut kwasu phonakaluki pikumta taring kalang pat taring turlan ritkan piluku taring yulramun kalikayok tukngaut.
When you're assigned a caseworker, make sure you take down their contact information. If you change your address or phone number, or any information that we can contact you with, we want to be able to do so. So keep that up to date, please.
Ахчақалгаунаффани наллунрит фкарлуку икааюртан қаиллунна элпат фоунаркувут кваллуикааюртлуутэн кватна каалақувут киусткавнун тоотстунна икааюмаллкан ахчақартоқ элпанун.
I know this will be a long process and you'll have a lot of questions. Your caseworker will be the one to answer most of them. So write down questions you may have so you can have them with them as well.
Gmanun matumchalaqumalqa taqstiigatuq taguam processaaq qaillumchukatalgaamak qaillumchukataluni mi aipani kalikalliusqan qallu ikaayurtluut nallatgun tauna gmanun taqqainaunrituq taguam qani pingnatuguluta pikumta pingnattuutkluku pistiigat qautuvni taqqifknak taguam ciumurluten kalikaq taqllerkaanun lisngalraamunlu yuvriqtluku ayaktipailak.
This weekend, we have the Multi-Agency Resource Center at the Egan Center. It will be Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Niitaqputawaiqani ikaayuqtkaput paivngatsiqut this weekend Saturday mi agayunramilu uitafknaatsi qanikutfknaatsi nangluta ullautnartukut tamma ikirtlqanik ayagnerluta pinaatsiarpknaatsi taunattoi pinaatsiarpknata ikaayuqtstaallerkamtnun ullautnaartukut.
We invite you all to attend because all of the resources will be there together. So as many questions that you have, we are hoping to answer and get you the resources that are available to you.
Apyutkanqkufti qallu apyutanqkufti neppailutkfknaaku apyutsti artaqanrilngallengraan elpnun umjuartqfknak artaqanritlilraaqua apyutkan tauna apyutktiqaaput ukunun jalistun toani paivaskata this weekend ullautnaartugut.
And if that doesn't entice you, there will be food, a potluck on Saturday with a special thank you, many gratitude to Chalista Corporation and the Alaska Native Heritage Center for the potluck.
Kingunumtni nerufkaqiqataqatalqaillaiukunga ullautlartukut saarlingeraan qaillpingeraan saarliurtuutaalleram talluunnerufkarilraanun ullautlartukut ukutkorqani qanneqnikpaiftiitiiqut uma maqiineq agaayineqlu taakuk qaingagni kaiglunineqat uitayunnait qatnluqanneraqluta akkiitaralraaninneqiartorunaartukut.
And lastly, I want to thank, it warmed my heart to hear the prayer in the beginning of this. Just a reminder that our Creator is in this and He is healing our land together. One thing I'll leave with you is that fireweed, which is so beautiful to our land, the seeds, they survive through devastation.
Juan Kutistuna ukfakak ngakput pakimna agayun. Nasuyagut nrita. Juan Kutasu nasun ritakput nakstput agayun ikayuchtput Juaniqua. Mani witasumtni. Nriyukinrisngamtkun agayut mi ikayuchturagak. Nriyukinrisngamtkun sutjali agayun na pasten kaksin. Dauna kanrut.
Fireweed allows for regrowth, and it shows tremendous beauty in a change of season. So at this time, remember that fireweed in devastation is beautiful when we come together and look at it at our land. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Now we'll have Elizabeth Varga with the Small Business Administration.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Vargas. I'm a public information officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration Office of Disaster Recovery.
Kanrut kakituchini nanishu jali lauchini.
SBA offers low-interest loans to property owners, renters, nonprofit organizations, and businesses of any size. If you had losses due to the storms, you can apply for a loan for up to $100,000 for your personal property. This can include your furniture, anything that was inside your home, and also the subsistence equipment.
Jali wimini akit kun ikayuritut ukut kani. Tagwam kani navreut kluku. Awai apreuk kapa amstatje 100,000 kisuku ikayuriu ngashat imiril ranun ikayuchtarlut. Tamana kwani kanrutka. Espji jasutsi pisutsi jagmashat umyorksuki imiriku dorten ikayungasinits.
Homeowners may borrow up to $500,000 to replace or rebuild their home.
Nen jagmakan witawin jagmaumakan jali winran kawai 100,000 apreu 500,000 kisuku navretiu nganiluting pillakan kisuku pasu asamak nutaram nemmak viukufti umyonkufti tamatum navras kalikam imeri ngauti.
The interest rates for these loans are as low as 3%.
Navriu nunakwani ilati navriutum 3% amstasin.
If you are approved, you are not obligated to take a loan.
Asikan kalikak imiran kaigatan spiti kayuchtarun imiran junirumatikut.
There are no payments or interest for the first 12 months after you receive your money.
Akikuna una kumari kuvgu ashakuchluti tunu makan espnun ashakuk kiluku akilriakaichiku tawam kingokun taum ashakum akilcharaska navritfut ayagnichtiku.
Businesses and nonprofits may also apply for a loan for property damage or economic losses.
Ilaksuku imirafti espti aksuti tapaksuku tovet kalikamun ikautsiqati awaik nemmak nemmakikanik piukufti tuaisuna ilatsuk ngaluku tuku karaput like ayagasut chatimkut aksuput nem awatini tapsuk ngau.
I know it's a lot of information, but we do have flyers and we can explain it one-on-one. I have 4 people with blue jackets. If you can approach them, ask questions, or take a flyer home.
Okay, and that's just here in the inside the building, or
Inside the building.
You'll be at the.
We will
Egan
be
Center.
on the weekend too, and we
Okay.
are here.
Taring kanirluk yaputeng kuvet kanihpak mani anveiligpet nasunaiskut na kanchtuk kwatan pastuchoralit usagluki apqavzari ngati tagwamchali Egan Centrami witachiklini.
Thank you.
Hello again. So my job is a public information officer. And so I try to tell people what's going on with the disaster, both the whole population, but also the people that are affected.
Umkani kwatsalara awai apshatun public information officer. Nasun rit nachschet anrut knachschet sli piunachkutim chikiumaluni tamakun kalachtumalun.
And I work for the state of Alaska.
Manisu state amatjani chalistmulu.
We have put together a Facebook page for the 2025 West Coast storm recovery.
Facebook katulini Facebook akuna nasunarut slil kulini mani yuvre rachkarpsnik. Kitugut tungin un kasu una recovery dot nayuko. Nasunrit nakrit nasunai romalu.
This is a brand new page, but moving forward, we will have state information, FEMA information, Red Cross, Chalista, AVCP, and others posted on this page.
Kwani atjani taum postarkan sterkan akutawai aptukai stateak FEMA mani suchali kwanguda nasunrilngaput jalista AVC pick tamakutkwani nasunarutnik 5 kuneng doni apritnik jali pejami ikireskuvunakwani pejak doni tamakameng taukut 5 malreit nas tangsungatikati.
This page is really for you and the other storm survivors.
Una nasunarun tugrummauk kwankutnun paknakkumthu dovet pejamun agiukngaukut kwallu kim tapifknata asatlukwani snichtugngaluteng dovet pejam.
And we will post here now and next year.
Kwanikpak limatikuk asami kusuchali alaichiklun.
Here in Anchorage, we have 211 if you need help understanding something or understanding where a resource is.
Mani Anchorage 211 nak on the phone or
On
the
your phone.
Phone akun fimamun dohun fimak dohun kayagaw ngati.
If you need food, transportation, help getting medical care, or other assistance, call 211.
I have a question.
Sure.
You said that food and other help needs we want, FEMA will help deliver.
211 is all the resources in the community. It's not just specific to the disaster.
And when we call that number, will we be questioned where we're at? Like, are you are you a vacuum?
No, 211 is open to everyone, but they have information about the disaster.
211 nakpani nasunrit kari yung ngasini kasu ikayut kaksnek sniruti yung ngalunis.
They also have Yupik language interpreters.
Mumixtisting lunis utaw na namburak Yugtun. Yugtun ni tukuv alachtskam.
All right. We have some other resources here on the screen with the phone numbers that we've been talking about tonight.
Panihwa nasuna ukutigaw ngalrit asat namburat nom pichreakaw phone kuwitsu tagan rariwan tagan phone avnun machtugaten pikut igachariumilku.
Our website, ready.alaska.gov, has a lot of information about the event as well.
Website ako na kani computer ak umyoksuku apriakaw. Website amun usausku ukuchali elastic nasunaro.
All right. And we talked about the mark this Saturday and Sunday. And if you'd like to take a picture of that, you can.
Anrut kuras kataway usakam ni 15, 16 igen centrami unoku siyan ito pick na 9 o'clock Mani Enkuchami, Chaliyaktutut, Unoku Penrani 567. 9 o'clock mi kichluni 6 o'clock.
If you have questions that you want us to answer, you can go to the Facebook page and post them there, and we will respond to them.
Up you think your Facebook page amun tamakut up you ikaw ngati. And aside from that, can the people here who are listening to you, are they able to ask questions to these here?
Yeah,
The
actually,
auditorium.
I'm done, and we are now going to have some microphones that we'll pass around. If you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand, and we will bring you a microphone so everyone can hear.
Is this working?
Yeah. Yugtun kasatun mo mehtis katakun. Okay. Kanak may kuyuktum tiya pamani chalistami. Akut state na FEMA magkingun lagat kuyukusuki pisumti. Umekpak ay pakaso unakan lower 48 tanak FEMA kingun niluting ayaga tukas kokut. Naguma inakakukulut ko hani tamakut kalaut knaki was information nam tikis knaki. So ilitaw kuma taiman school kunakpa. Ikaya pensilik anausuta. At tauti kukuna FEMA nampera Alaska mi witala. 1866 sa ulo ni nampera tao na kingan kalas kluku. Asat wani FEMA ngol rate unakan United States Sam kalakul rate ilang disk pinaki. Aki rugak espetsnun tay kataktok tay matay skusila. Dali unang katakalo si tayema. Muwes kinriskufti. Amsak makaki karugak maktama kay tikuti. Mul nga nakukman na. Man tsene. Ilati su manlanginan at tifani. Muwes kukluki pinahtuti. Kuyana.
Okay, but the gentleman was talking about that he went and got some assistance from ABCP or any of the native corporations. They were informed not to answer any call from FEMA from other states, only to respond to FEMA here in Alaska only. And then they're saying something about the number they need to dial is here in
Yes.
Alaska only.
Today, my name is Willie Nunn, the Federal Coordinating Officer. Today, we spoke to the tribal leaders in Kipnuk, and he informed me that he and his members were having difficulty talking to folks on the national number. So today, the number I gave him, the 1-866-342-1699, that number will be answered here in Anchorage. And as I said today, when we call that number, those are people that will be here to answer your question to your satisfaction. And so please call that number. I've already told my team to expect more calls, and that's what we're there to do.
Agunanambrakawai aphtun kihluku aphtun kihtaluku su mani alaskami nambrako kimi fimamun jali atukluku kayagaku ukut jalistain ilita kiuchikat.
Can you please reiterate the information that you talked about on 211? About if anybody wants help with food, transportation, and whatnot?
You can call 211 and they can put you in touch with different transportation options. Some of them are anchor rides. There's also Lutheran social services that can help you get to medical appointments. And they can also help you with the people mover, understanding the routes of the people mover.
What was the list that you gave out? If anybody needed help with food and transportation and lodging?
They can put you in touch with the resources that are available here in Anchorage if you call 211.
Ogna asir luku taring skuma luku kina imnaika yuku ni huk nak or ayagasut ka mak or witawih kan kwalcham ktaima 211 namun kala kufchi huk ika yuk kafts nun derek tachikaji.
I have a question. This morning, when or actually this afternoon, when I called that, let me start from the beginning. My wife and I went to primary care under ANMC, and one of the ladies there who worked gave us that number, 211 number. And that number would give us a ride from my location here in Anchorage to go to the hospital pharmacy. So I did that. I called to the, actually it was the hospital that I called to. And the person on the other end told me, you have to call 211 number. The 211 number, the FEMA person have not set up for any rides for people like me, evacuees, displaced people. They will not. If they don't receive information from 2111, then they can't offer rides for me.
It's our understanding they will. We will find out about that. We will contact 211 and see what the problem is there to try to resolve that.
Unom kwinga tuwan nakjuk naku hospital amon jalistilit kanrut kanga unanambrak kalas luku right out jik niluta. Kwanguda evacuate koktot hospital achtul wita wit niktagujuk ngay. Tawam kanruti masku nga tuan ko ka state na nasunrit kanrilkat ki right out istiga tut taumgap tlok.
I understand the gentleman was concerned about fraud calls. And if you get a call and you're not sure, call the FEMA IA number. We're working to get Yupik speakers to answer calls and be available for the hotline, the 866-342-1699.
Aguna nambura kawai apaktus kanang kaya gao yung ngati ungutsil kusi kist snik asam namburam Yugtun sali kanri yung algam kist kaft snik I've ngal recht ang kachikok.
Hi, my name is George. You guys just talked about probably scams. If you got, you get scammed, and that's that, then you try to tell FEMA somebody took my money. What happens after that?
There is if you go, let me see if I can, this right here on ready.alaska.gov, if you go in that document, there's something to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they investigate scams, and they are aware of scams that are taking place. So tomorrow, we will repost the U.S. Attorney's Office scam information on the Facebook page so people can go there and see that. And if you are a victim of that, or you think someone is trying to scam you, you can report it to the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Pitsagacht nak tiglagi makuvet akimak FEMA ka kingunlik tau na kumyok suka kunaptok. Akimak tiglagi makuvet ukut kwani 5 kut investigate kaitnik au nachtakal garo taring luku pikuftsni pikufti elptsnik ikayu matrikuti. There's a question up front.
I have a question. So, with my understanding that FEMA is the initial help, the first help. So when people receive that money, since everybody received that 790, that's the initial payment. When people receive the rental assistance, and then they get their lump sum from FEMA, is that lump sum money intended to help them fix and repair homes in the village? And once that payment is made, how are these people, do they save the money and hold on to that money, or can they use that lump sum of a money and pay for housing assistance and is help done afterwards? So do they only have a choice between home repairs for housing assistance? Can we only choose between one, home repairs or rental housing assistance, or not both?
So for the FEMA side of things, you are eligible for multiple programs. So you could be eligible the $790. So that would either be for clean and sanitary. No, it would be for
Food, diapers, so on and so forth.
food, diapers, serious needs assistance. Essentially, that is just a first payment. Like you are evacuees may be eligible for additional funding.
So that additional funding, my
so
understanding is the 5,600 or 5,000 something is the 2-month rental assistance, right?
It's called displacement assistance.
Displacement
So
assistance.
displacement assistance lasts for 14 days. After the 14-day period, you're able to call into the Alaska Helpline Center, and then you can request rental assistance.
That is all different from the initial lump sum payment, completely different. So
Correct.
Our people are receiving the 790 and then the initial displacement assistance, and then they're receiving the lump sum payment. On top of the lump sum payment, after the 2 months of that displacement assistance, there is something after that. What is that?
So the first step would be the serious needs assistance that you guys received. So that would be for diapers, for clothes, for whatever the purpose may be. And then you may be potentially eligible for displacement assistance. So displacement assistance is meant for things like hotels, for staying with friends or family to help pay for like utilities and stuff like that. After your displacement assistance has gone through and you're finished with that funding, you are able to call FEMA for additional funding or additional assistance if that is something that you still need. So it would be the displacement assistance, and then you are able to call our helpline center at the 866-342-1699. And they will be able, you would call and say that you have used all of your displacement assistance and that you would like, and that you still need additional assistance. So at that time, you may be eligible for rental assistance.
Correct. So
And then you could potentially get additional assistance after that, but you would have to exhaust all of the funds that you have used, that you have received.
and when you say exhaust, you're talking about the initial displacement assistance, not the lump sum payment that everybody's getting for the repairs and such.
Correct. So not the lump sum that you were originally getting. If you go online or if you call into our helpline center, we can better explain the assistance that you guys have received, and we can help you understand the process of the additional assistance that may be eligible for you.
Okay. Kwingillingok nga daring sumni una apqausam ki aking khpalchita aguna amsagnis spitsni aking jiquji amsagmak tamana apyut khaqa huinga adurach kauga putkuqa tauna agirugak for the rental assistance tuam qanruta gut tauna agirugak eventually atuchjiqaji jambilini kukituchjiqa taqufji tuam mani witaqa taqufji rentlani witaqa taqufji kwat ilaftni wita gufji ila like anaka nimni witaq igayo yuk ngachali rental assistance nimni witangan kwallu rentam bigufji apartmentam bigufji igayoch jiqatji tauna lump samak atunril ngkhpjiu asam igayong jarnachtuji 2 months nangkan disaster assistance asam jali imiriluji rental assistance kamak tamana nasunrit neraji igayoch tochjirut ugut takluji pingay taitsi oyana.
I would like to reiterate that you will be assigned a caseworker, so you will not have to remember all of this. Okay, so when you receive the rental assistance, the goal is to get you into some sort of housing or whatever that looks like. That caseworker will walk you through that process to reach your goal. Okay, so when you're assigned eligibility to these programs, that caseworker will be able to explain everything rather than retaining and remembering all of this. So don't get overwhelmed with not understanding that. The caseworker you will be assigned will be able to explain that to you and what those funds will go towards as well.
Kuya na taking usekluta Miss K apyuteng totally kan nginan kani apyut kapyuk kaisuntak talgam grant classes tak pikatak ta kwasok ka 18 months kayo kataka nga rent assistant tam. If I get into rental assistant, is it just going to help me 18 months? And then what? And then my other question was, we all never experience what happened, and I just don't like to say, I just say that wind. I hate it. I never ever thought I would be displaced. Kipnuk is my home. I've lived there 30 plus years. When I talk about it, I just say that wind. Yes, most of us had been displaced to Anchorage, some to Bethel. What about those people out in the rural villages that went displaced? Are they getting the same assistance as we are, or they don't know? Are they getting help? Are they being reached out? People that are out in the villages. You know, living out in the village, when you buy something, when you're going to get stove oil, when you're going to get gas, it doubles. Even grocery doubles or triples. You would never imagine how much it is to live out in the village. It's hard, especially trying to get stove oil, and there's no trees in our areas. And then I had, are they getting the same assistance as we are? Are they getting the same privilege? Or are the people just in Anchorage getting assistance, or even in Bethel? One other question I have, my husband asked me, what about those people that stayed behind? They're helping repair the roads. They're helping repair the sidewalks. They're helping repairing the poles. Are they getting help as we are? They're displaced. There's no difference. It doesn't discriminate. Are they getting the same assistance as we are? Because when I went home to get some winter items that we would need, most of them would go to the school to eat hot lunch, hot dinner, or sleep over there. No lights, no stove oil. Are they getting the same assistance as we are? My question is that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I know this was terrible for everybody. Nobody expects a disaster like this to happen. The answer is yes. Everybody that was displaced is eligible for the same assistance, regardless of whether you stayed in the village, whether you are with friends and family in Bethel, whether you came to Anchorage or other areas of the state. Everybody is eligible for that assistance. We have been sending our staff out, our teams out to the communities to help register folks that did stay behind, that have been living in the school and eating in the school and doing the repairs for you. We're going to continue to do that. I will say there will be some questions and rumors about deadlines, like you have to apply by this date or that date. Those deadlines will be extended. FEMA has worked in Alaska a lot with us, and they know how hard it is. We have to get out and contact people who aren't here, who are still back in the villages or displaced in other areas in the region or in Bethel, and we understand that. And so we will extend all of those deadlines for people to be able to register with FEMA and apply with the state to make sure that they have access to the same exact resources that you all are hearing about here in Anchorage. When it comes to the 18-month timeline that we have for our rental assistance benefit, that's just a maximum there. We certainly hope, and our goal is that nobody needs to use 18 months of assistance to be out of their home and out of their community. So we are going to be working with all of you individually, your households, the tribal councils, the regional housing authority, everybody in the region to work on the solution to rebuild and repair homes as soon as it's safe and possible to do so. A lot of that's going to have to happen over the summer when the barges are sailing again and we can bring in rebuilding materials. So we have up to 18 months to provide assistance to anybody that's displaced. I don't want to use all of that. I want to get all of you back into your communities and into your homes. That's our collective goal, is to get you back to what would be the new normal after Halong and after we get your homes repaired.
I have a question. The reality of what happened in our communities, Kipnuk more so, even in Quig, there are some homes that have been badly damaged, unlivable, I mean, not easy to repair because of the extent of damage. Some homes have been drifted. In Quig, there's a home that's farthest floated. Like I'd say 5 miles out of the community, or even more than that. And there's no way that that home can be brought back to the community. What about these homes? What benefit can the homeowners get besides 5,000? However much that benefit amount is the first time.
Yeah, so there will be numerous sets of funding that are available for all of these different programs that we talked about. When it comes to repairing or rebuilding a home because it's been completely destroyed or can't be repaired or it's lost or if it washed away, we will be working with dozens and dozens of agencies. So our programs aren't the only ones that are out there. We'll be working with the Regional Housing Authority and BIA and HUD and our volunteer organizations and the private sector that may want to donate resources to help us rebuild homes that were lost or destroyed and can't be repaired. So all of that is going to be work that we're going to be coordinating all winter to find all of those resources to maximize all of that available support for all of you, particularly the folks whose homes can't be repaired and need to be rebuilt.
Native village of Kipnuk, I'm Daniel Paul. I know a lot of elders ask me, they're displaced in other villages and small villages, about the lumber prices are skyrocketed in inflation. And I hope you guys send this to Donald Trump to cut those lumber prices down. The gas and stove oil are skyrocketed down at our place, even with Quick. I think it would be better for all of us who are in here for Quig, even the other villages. I know the lumbers from lower 48 are going to come down to cut down the prices. And many of the native village of Kipnuk residents lost their homes, non-livable. All the lumber prices in our corporation are skyrocket high. One plywood cost over $112 a sheet with tax. So I was wondering if you guys could write those lumber people to donate or ask if they could send each village to ease down to distribute equally. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mr. Paul. I will say we're very well aware of the cost. Really, before Halong, we had a problem with the cost of stove oil and lumber getting out to our communities. It's so much more expensive to get a 2x4 or a sheet of plywood to a community in Western Alaska than it is even here in Anchorage, or definitely more expensive than the lower 48. So we are working with the providers of those materials. We also have some options that we'll be looking at where we would help pay for the shipping of the material. So if a sheet of plywood costs $15 in Seattle, it's going to cost you $15 and we pay for the freight. That's why we're working with the barge lines now to try to plan for that space on barges this coming summer so we can help offset some of the cost ourselves with our disaster programs. We certainly understand the cost of materials, and it's everything. It's not just for the homes, it's the cost of gravel and rock to repair the runways, and it's the cost of all the lumber and the pilings to repair boardwalks and those kind of things. It's, sometimes 10 times as much money once it's received in a community in Western Alaska than it is even on the road system here in Anchorage or in Fairbanks. So we do have some programs. We'll be planning on that as well to try to maximize the money that you have to rebuild your home, and where we can help with things like shipping. We're going to be looking at all those options over the winter. So thank you for bringing that up. We do have to, I think we got the buses that are coming. I do want to thank Adolph and Rose for all of your help. You talked more than the rest of us did because we all took turns. I want to thank all of you for being here. Back to the point about your friends and family that are displaced but aren't in Anchorage. We could use your help as well. Share our message, share our Facebook page, share these phone numbers that we have with your folks that you know that are still out in the region or in their communities. Like I said, we'll be continuing to go to the communities regularly and often, but we could use your help as well. We want to make sure that your family and your neighbors are taken care of as well. Nobody's happy when these things happen. Government programs are slow and often confusing, but our team is here to help you navigate through all of this until we can get you all back home safe and sound, however long that takes. So on behalf of the whole team, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thanks again to Chilista and President Guy and Rasmussen and the school district for giving us the facility. And we hope to see many of you at the Resource Center and for the potluck this weekend, Saturday afternoon. The Resource Center is open Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. But hope to see you there. Thank you all very much for your time tonight. Thank you.